Hello, listeners, and welcome to a very special episode of About Time. I'm Stephen, and usually I'm joined on the podcast by my boyfriend Ben. Unfortunately, Ben is not here today, which is a real shame because we know how much he adores the man I'm going to be talking to in this episode. I did try to convince him, but despite how he comes across on the podcast, he can be quite a shy person, and he made the decision not to join us on this occasion, which I respect. However, keep your ears open and you might just hear a little something from him later on in the episode. But enough waffle from me. It's about time that I introduced our very special guest. You may know him better as Rhys Williams in Torchwood. It's the fabulous Kai Owen.
Hello there.
Hi Kai, thank you so much for joining.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. I'm really, really good. I feel great. I've got to be honest. I feel really good. I'm approaching a milestone birthday very, very soon.
All right.
Very, very soon. And I feel good. I'm very grateful. I feel really good. I'm approaching the big 5-0 next week.
Next week. Congratulations.
Yeah, next week, mate. Next week. Yeah, September the 4th is my actual birthday. So
fantastic.
And I got to be honest with you, I feel really good. I'm saying cheerio to my 40s and welcome in my 50s.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've made some career changes in recent years as well, haven't you?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Moving into a bit of a new chapter, maybe.
Exactly. I believe that life does work in chapters. I think we go through stages in our lives of development, human development, discovery amongst ourselves, pathways that we approach different lives. So I do believe that there's chapters, you can look back and go, oh, that was a nice chapter in my life. That was, and you learn so much from past chapters, and you've got so much to look forward to from coming chapters as well. So yeah, I believe in new chapters and things. Yeah.
Very wise. So I've got some questions for you, obviously.
Of course, my friend.
And peppered throughout as well, we've got some questions submitted by our patrons who wanted to ask you a few things.
Absolutely brilliant.
So look out for those.
More the merrier.
But I thought we'd start with just how did you get into acting?
Yeah.
Did you always want to be an actor?
I guess looking back, I never really sort of thought about becoming an actor from an early age. It's just something that I always did. And what I mean by that was I was very confident in school. I was very confident in class. I was blessed with a really loud voice, right? I've got great projection. And I was always chosen for like assemblies and like reading out loud in classroom. Can somebody read this? Can somebody read this? And I would always put my hand up and go, yeah, I'll read it. And it never bothered me. I was never shy to do that. So I think it grew from there. There was something in me that just had this natural sort of talent for whether it be performing or whether like a just natural sort of stage confidence or presence, I think. And then it was nurtured actually by some fantastic school teachers who they saw that I was okay on stage and I could do this and comfortable. And they got me involved in local Eisteddfods competitions, reciting competitions. And they got me involved in any sort of school plays that were happening. They'd encourage me to go along. They did school musicals as I was going on towards my sort of 4th and 5th year. And I got involved in those as well. And I could sing. I found out I had a bit of a voice as well. So I think it was really from the encouragement of especially two brilliant teachers who said, look, there's a way, if you like this and you're good at this and you want to do this, this is possible. Because I didn't think that it was possible. Acting in the world of acting and things just felt a world away from my little town in Llanrwst in North Wales. So these brilliant teachers sort of guided me and said, look, you can do that. There are ways. There are BTEC courses in the local technical college. There's summer courses on the National Youth Theatre of Wales. So I sort of, with the help of those, discovered that there was a world of possibilities out there. And they encouraged me to go along and helped me choose a monologue for my drama school speech, helped me sing a song. And I think without them, I probably wouldn't have done it because I didn't really know how to go about it or whether I would have believed in myself or just thought I was mucking about and having a laugh with it really. And I was involved in all sorts, sport and all the other parts of school as well. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful to two wonderful teachers called George Lloyd and Joy Ossel, and they were brilliant, brilliant people.
Oh, amazing. And you trained at Mountview, didn't you?
Yes, I did, yeah.
And were your family quite supportive of you wanting to go into the performing arts?
Yeah, they were. I mean, to be honest, they were supportive, and they were very proud. And I come from a very working class background in North Wales, and none of my family, nobody that I knew was involved in or had any interest in doing what I wanted to do in terms of like performing and becoming an actor. But they were just brilliant. You know, they were just incredibly supportive along my journey, because I had to leave home. Not really many of the family had left home either. I mean, I'm talking about cousins and uncles and, you know, all sorts of family. Everybody was born and bred in Llanrwst, and everybody stayed in bloody Llanrwst. They didn't move. You know, you got a job in the factories, you got a joiner, you got a trade, and you just sort of stayed there. And, you know, but I wanted to leave. I saw the sort of pathway thanks to the teachers, and it was just there in front of me. So they were incredibly supportive, and it wasn't very easy. Again, incredibly grateful to my parents, forever grateful, forever in debt to them, really, because moving from Llanrwst to London obviously comes with expense. So yeah, somehow I did it, and with their incredible support, they made themselves skint probably for the whole 3 years that I was there. And yeah, so hugely supportive, like beyond belief, really. So massively grateful.
Oh, that's fantastic. So obviously we are a Doctor Who podcast, and you're most familiar to our listeners as Rhys in Torchwood. Would you say that is what you're most known for, or you get recognised for?
I think it probably is, isn't it? You know, I think I got to be honest, and it is, and I love the fact that it is, really, because I love Rhys, and I love everything about him. I also love everything about the world that we're all involved in. You know, I'm a big fan of the world as well. I'm sure we'll get to that, but yeah, I think so. I think that there's some Hollyoaks fans out there as well that recognise me from playing the dirty, nasty Pete on Hollyoaks, but I think it's look, I think so far where I am at this stage, it's Rhys from Torchwood, and happy with that all day long.
Absolutely, because obviously Doctor Who's a huge British institution.
Yeah.
And Torchwood, I mean, it's, you know, coming up to 20 years ago that it started now.
Yeah.
And, you know, for maybe some people, you could look back at it and it's quite niche now. But when it was airing, I think it was a big deal. Like,
yes.
Especially by the time you got to like Series 3, Children of Earth. Like, it was huge.
Absolutely. It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of our patrons, Fizzy, wants to know, did you have any experience of Doctor Who before you were cast in the spin-off? Like, do you remember watching it as a kid?
Yeah, great question. Very much so, yeah. Like I said, I grew up with it, really, and it was a huge part of my sort of tea time whenever it was on, whether it was a Saturday evening or during the week. I think it came on for a bit. I think very much so. The sound, the theme tune was on. I knew that Doctor Who was on, and I would watch it, yeah, religiously. I'd watch it with my dad, K9, and was a huge fan. And I had the Dalek, I had a TARDIS, I had a K9.
Oh, brilliant!
And I certainly specifically remember being sort of glued. I remember Tom Baker's regeneration. I remember that vividly on my screen. I remember Peter Davidson coming to life and regenerating and going, whoa, and that was a big impact. And I remember being very much sort of invested into Peter Davidson's journey. I think I just liked that. There was just, I don't know, I liked what he wore, I liked his outfit. Although Tom Baker, I remember that very much. But from Peter Davidson onwards, I was sort of hugely invested in his stories. And yeah, it was just always on, and I think it was just there. It was a huge part of everybody's life. And I'm not a massive sci-fi fan, but I would certainly say, yeah, I was a Doctor Who fan. You know, it was part of my life. So I was extremely aware of when I'd heard that Russell was going to bring it back, and I was extremely familiar with. They said, well, this is Torchwood, it's a spin of Doctor Who. I went, oh, okay, I know that world. I can get on board with that kind of thing. So yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, so bloody exciting, honestly.
I bet, yeah. So when you first got approached about it, had the revival series with Christopher Eccleston, had that aired at that point?
Yes, it aired for the year. It had been on. And I was working. I did a lot of work as an actor in Theatre Clwyd at the time. And I was doing a play, and pretty much every actor in Wales had heard that Russell T Davies is creating this spin-off called Torchwood, of an alien crime-fighting team set in Cardiff. So literally every Welsh actor was like, what? Oh, God, got to be seen, agent on the phone, all that sort of stuff. So I remember me missing the sort of general kind of audition, general meetings that they were holding in the BBC in Wales, that Andy Pryor was sort of holding. He wanted to meet a load of Welsh actors, and they sort of went in. I remember speaking to me and said, look, I'm not available to go meet for this audition or this general sort of meeting that was going on, but I'm really interested and I would love to be seen for it, obviously, because, it's there as well. And regardless of parts, there's work. This is going to, if it's one episode or 4 scenes in an episode or whatever it may be, you want that. I did go in to meet Andy Pryor. I went into his office and I read a scene from the Who series that I'd been on. And I just went in to read it. And I think it was a scene that the actor Bruno, his name Bruno in Coronation Street, wasn't he? He was in it. He was in Who, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Bruno Langley.
Bruno Langley. I read his scene that he did in the first series, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Just to hear me. And then about a week later, I got called in for Rhys. So there was a little Who connection with the Bruno Langley thing. The other connection that I had as well, as I think, is that the year before that, I'd done a really beautiful TV project called Rocket Man with Robson Green up in Newcastle. It was 6 episodes and it was on BBC One on a Sunday night, and it was a gorgeous, charming series. I had a wonderful time on it. And one of the executive producers of that show was Julie Gardner. So I think there was I think there was a chance going, I've worked with Kai. He's not crazy. He's okay. He's a good lad. We can sort of see him. So I think that helps. It does, things like that do help in the business.
Yeah, of course.
And then I got an audition then from then after meeting Andy and reading that scene. I went in and I met Sophie Fante, the producer, met Brian Kelly, who was directing the first couple of episodes of Torchwood, and I went in to read for the role of Rhys. And at the time, it was described as Rhys, a semi-regular role of the husband of Gwen Cooper.
Yeah. Is that literally all they told you?
Yeah, and I knew that Gwen was going to be Eve because I think it had been announced.
Okay.
And Eve and myself go back a long way. So I knew Eve before that. I knew Eve's husband, boyfriend at the time, Brad. So I kind of knew who Eve was. So it was semi-regular, and it was literally just the scene when we were on the sofa when she comes home from work and all that, saying he's been with Banana Boat, all right, what's going on and all that. And yeah. And then about a week later, I got a bloody call to say, got it. It's mental.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if knowing Eve as well from the past helped you have that chemistry.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm not sure if they were too familiar with that, but I think it certainly did. I've got a great... You cannot not have a rapport with Eve anyway. So anybody who's coming to work with Eve, even if you don't know her, within about 10 seconds, you've got a rapport with her. You know what I mean? She's that amazing. No. But what was interesting was that it was so exciting, man. It was so bloody exciting. We did the read through in a big hotel in Cardiff. And obviously I went to see Eve there. And I didn't know what Rhys's role was going to be. Don't know how much. As I said, it's semi-regular. That could be 3 roles out of the 13 episodes, 4, 5, who knows. Anyway, we read the first 2 episodes I was in. It was thrilling. It was exciting. Russell was there, John, everybody. It was gorgeous. And I remember asking one of the producers, what's in store for Rhys? What's the idea? Well, we don't know at the moment. It's, at least 4 or 5 episodes at the moment, and we'll see where the character goes. And I'll never forget that night, we'd had a few pints and things. We'd had everybody was sort of getting to know each other. It was such a celebration. Eve pulled me to one side, and like I said, we're old mates anyway. And she said, we have to make Gwen and Rhys so believable. We have to make Gwen and Rhys totally in love so the audience love us. We have to make them a real couple. And if we do that, you'll be in this series as long as I am.
Yeah.
And Eve said that to me because she's so brilliant and she's so intelligent and she's so clued on that I went, fucking hell, she's right. Sorry for swearing. Oh my God.
No, please do. Yeah.
She's so bang on. And I'll never forget her saying that. So it was so easy to work alongside her because I was so familiar. And her choices and her playfulness on set created this world. So that's where really Rhys sort of grew from in terms of that world, I think. And I'll never forget her saying that to me on the read through. So it did help, I think, that I knew her so well that she sort of wanted me around a bit more as well. So
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
That was so true what she said. And you definitely succeeded in that. Like the portrayal of a couple that you gave was so realistic, like warts and all and everything,
Yeah, I think so. I think it was, because it was domestic at the same time as extraordinary, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like Rhys be there with his yellow marigolds on while she's fighting a bloody weevil halfway down St. Mary Street. Do you know what I mean?
there is a great scene where she's doing something like that and you're on the phone leaving a message and like, could you video wife swap?
Could you video wife swap for me? Yeah. I'm on the bed. He's had a couple of pints and he's saying, I love her. I'll be home later. Couldn't your video wipes up? Yeah.
It's so good. And there's one particular scene which stands out as well, which it's from series 2. I think it's the meet episode where obviously Rhys finds out about Torchwood.
Yeah.
And it's that argument scene where she comes back to the flat and she says to you, I catch aliens, and your response is just piss off.
Piss off, yeah.
And it's that is such a good scene. And I did hear once via Eve on Twitter that was quite a tricky scene because it was the end of a day of filming and you had very little time.
It was rushed. It was really rushed. And as ever with Torchwood and these huge series, time is valuable and time runs out because they're bloody epic. And obviously the elements don't help some days and, something could go wrong technically. So they're behind. And there were such ambitious episodes at times, so we'd have been shooting Meet alongside another episode. We would usually do 2 episodes per block. And I can't remember what we were doing alongside Meet. It could have been something like Adam. I'm not quite sure. It was never in sync. It was never like 4 and 5. It could have been like 5 and episode 8 or something. It's something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was a really long day. And I know we were busy and we were location to location to location. And I remember we had to come back and we had to come from location, I think, and get back to the studios to Gwen and Rhys's flat to film probably the most important scene in Rhys's character storyline and in Gwen's character storyline in terms of the world of Gwen and Rhys anyway, because it's where Rhys finds out about Torchwood. And it was rushed, but it was handled brilliantly by the director Colin Teague at the time. And we had a DOP called Martin Stevens, and he pretty much shot it on handheld. And we sort of roughly blocked it around Gwen and Rhys's flat. And he sort of followed, so you can see the wipe of the camera sometimes of him just coming in, and it kind of works for the argument. But it was very rushed. Luckily, I'm quite good at knowing my lines. Eve, outstanding, on it without properly on it all the time. And we smashed it out in about an hour and a half. It wasn't a lot. We didn't want to dwell on it. We just let's go again. Let's go. There wasn't much to say. There wasn't much to discuss here. Let's just keep shooting it. And it was the end of an exhausting day. But I think the final result is probably my sort of favourite and my probably greatest bit of TV work that I've done in a clip. If I had to choose a favourite clip of sort of what I've ever done over the years, it would go straight to that one.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely one of my favourite scenes.
Yeah.
The pace and the energy of it,
yeah.
I think the fact that it had to be rushed a little bit maybe helps.
It probably, because it was quite fraught, wasn't it? I think. And
yeah.
But it, it was just a fantastic. Kath Treganna wrote it, obviously with Russell's overseeing it all, and it was a hell of a team. Always was a hell of a team of writers, and it was just brilliant day. Any time I was on that set with Eve was just joyous.
Yeah, I can imagine. So obviously that scene is a big turning point. That episode is a big turning point for Rhys finding out about Torchwood.
Yeah.
When you found out that was going to be happening, were you excited by that development?
Yes, I think I was. I think I was. Of course I was. But I think they told me at the start, before we even started shooting, I think they'd made a decision, because obviously he died at the end of series 1 and they brought him back to life. So there was I think they made a decision. Again, credit to Eve, saying, look, let's make him real. And I think Russell and the producers made a decision, look, let's keep this guy alive because he works. Rhys does work quite dramatically for Gwen. He also works dramatically if you kill Rhys as well. It gives her another sort of turmoil to sort of put in. But looking back on the series now, at the time it would work dramatically because Rhys is very much a killable character. But actually, looking back on it, it just wouldn't work at all now, really, would it? You couldn't imagine it.
You couldn't imagine it without Rhys. Do you think, was there ever a time when they were considering you just being in the first series and then killing you off?
Yeah, I think there was.
And then they changed their minds.
I think they wanted to see how that sort of character, how that relationship developed, and if it would work alongside this other world, and whether we just keep Gwen and throw her into this. But Gwen is so real, she needed that real life. And I think they did. They told me before we started shooting the second series, look, Rhys is going to find out about Torchwood in this one. And I also knew that I wasn't going to be in every episode of season 2. I think I was in more than most, but they said, look, he's going to find out, and it's going to be a big episode, Rhys-led episode. And again, it was Eve who phoned me because she got the episode before me. And she said, I'm just reading Meet. You're in it. It's your episode, buddy. About bloody time. We're going to smash this.
Yeah.
Again, she's so supportive, honestly. And it was Colin Teague. And it was such a great fun to do.
Yeah, it is a fantastic episode. I remember watching it with Ben for the podcast. So the idea of the podcast is I've been a fan a long time and he's never seen Doctor Who or Torchwood.
Oh, wow.
So we're going through it and he's being introduced to it.
Oh, cracking idea.
And he really liked Torchwood. Sometimes he said it was better than Doctor Who. And like we got to the Meet episode and he was like, that was so good.
Ah, great stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ben.
So were you excited to be more involved with the kind of sci-fi stuff as well as the domestic stuff?
Yeah, I was. I think I was more excited because I got to hang out with John and the rest of the team more. Do you know what I mean? So they were having so much fun on the hub, and literally next door was Gwen and Rhys's flat. So like, I was like, I need to get in and see them guys because they're amazing and they're having fun. So those days when Rhys was involved with that team, I got to hang around with John and Byrne and Ayoko and Gaz, and it was just the happiest, most beautiful time and fun to be around them, led by the best in the business, John, led by the best.
I feel like you can tell that watching it, like the ensemble just feels like it would be fun to be part of.
Yeah, incredible. Nothing but good fun. It was just fantastic. It was just, we played hard, we worked hard, and it was just a joy to be around. It was. So yeah, and then also, on a personal level, I loved being around because we had a great laugh. And then on a professional level, Rhys getting involved into the more nitty gritty sci-fi stuff. Again, fantastic. Doing a bit of green screen work, acting, looking at sort of pretend pterodactyls, all those kind of things. Was brilliant. And then just whenever I was involved in those lot with those lot was great, especially like in the wedding episode and things.
Oh god, yeah. Fantastic. And so series 2 you became involved but not that involved.
No.
But then series 3 comes along and you become part of the main cast.
Yeah.
And we've got a question here from Owen, not Torchwood's Owen, but our patron Owen. He says, what was it like to become a full part of the Torchwood team and having to change the way you play the character? Did you change the way you play the character? And he also says, just want to say hi. I miss Torchwood so much.
Owen, thank you so much. I miss Torchwood too, mate. Thank you so much. Hiya. I don't think I had to change the character at all, in fact. I think what Rhys worked, the way Rhys worked, and I think it still worked in Children of Earth to a certain extent, where actually what you saw was Rhys going, whatever I can do to get her away from this danger, as soon as I can, I'll bloody help.
Yeah.
And that was my sort of motive all the way through. I'm threatened by Jack. I'm threatened by, I don't know who this guy Yanto is. And I'm I don't know what's going on. I get it. So, but I just want Gwen away ASAP and safe, basically. So I'll help. And also he will do anything for her.
Yeah.
So I needed to go in there and shoot that alien, and he probably would for Gwen. He loved her with all his heart. And then I think there was an excitement side of it. I think he found it exciting. But I don't think I needed to change anything in the way Rhys was played, because you don't, because Russell would never write that.
No, exactly.
Russell wrote, we got gold.
Yeah. When
you get a Russell T Davies script, you're getting gold. And so Rhys was just there. He's just there, and he just happened to be a part of the team. I never really thought that he was a part of a team. I think he was just, I just happened to be in more episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
I got, honestly, and I think that was it. The team were the team, and long may they reign. But Rhys was just, Gwen and Rhys were a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be involved more and more in it, again, they'd let me know before they'd say, we were informed on a couple of things before the series started. We were informed, I think, on it being over 5 nights. They said this is going to be Monday to Friday, event television. How excited. They said, Kai, you're going to have some billing this year. You're going to be in the opening credits and you're going to be involved in every episode. And they also told us about something that happens during the season that was very sad.
Yes. Well, so much to choose from, so much sad stuff.
But yeah, but the main one. Yes. I didn't want to do any spoilers. But,
it's fine. I'm sure our listeners have watched it.
Yeah. So yeah, they told us about my lovely friend Gareth and Yanto.
Oh dear.
So
yeah.
we were like, oh my God, it's gonna kick off. I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah. It really did.
I know.
And the main cast are getting picked off one by one, and you're still there.
Yeah, you'd be looking for that up in the script. But yeah, they're very good at communicating, and they would always sort of, you wouldn't get a script and like find your own fate out when you read the script. They're very good at communicating.
Yeah, that would be a bit bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you've shared some already, but do you have any favourite memories from your time on the show, or any favourite people you worked with?
The memories of doing the show, the memories are of this incredible experience and getting to work with Russell and to work on such an iconic show, a cult of a show really nowadays, really. It's there, amongst some great shows that have gone, especially sci-fi shows of a genre kind of show. It's Torchwood lives and breathes, and that's due to the loyalty of the brilliant fans. I guess memories are just, I have, getting the job, working next to the TARDIS, working on the hub, working close with Eve and John and all these brilliant people. The memories are too much to sort of, there's too many brilliant memories. There are no bad memories. There were no bad moments. Obviously going to America, obviously going over to LA and Hollywood to shoot the 4th season, in terms of what an experience, living in LA, filming it in LA, on the Warner Brothers lot, on the ER stage, 2.5 men was getting shot on one stage. DiCaprio was filming down the road. Bill Pullman was visiting us in our trailers for a coffee, talking to me about Ant and Dec. I mean, it was just mental. But memories that'll last forever, and friends that have lasted that will last even longer as well.
Yeah.
So it was just a joy, and the fun that we had on set was just brilliant. And then what the added bonus then is stuff like this, that the fans are still interested in it. So this lovely podcast, the fantastic conventions that we get invited to, the Comic Cons, the unwavering support and loyalty of the fan base. Best in the world. Like I'm constantly overwhelmed. I've been to some big conventions in Australia, in America, and they're as loyal and as fierce in a convention of 6,000 to one that I've done in York, in lovely York, where I just meet a handful. It's just a joy to meet them all.
Oh, amazing. And going to America for Series 4, was that quite a different experience to make, or?
It was a hugely different experience because it was very much like a dream. I still can't quite believe that we went there and did it, because I've not been back there since. And I've not even had remotely any chance of doing that ever since. And I probably never will. And if I do, it'd be like, I'd be the luckiest man in the bloody world. But it was thrilling. It was exciting. And they welcomed us with open arms, the crew and the producers and the writers and everybody over there who we were associated with across the pond were incredible and absolutely beautiful human beings. The cast that joined, Alexa Havens, Arlene Tur, Mackay, Bill Pullman, all these people, it was just joyous, and the crew and everything out there. So what an experience. Yeah. We were nervous. There's no doubt about we were nervous. We filmed a lot of the Welsh footage before we went over there. And then we went over a couple of times. And then I moved out there sort of like for 6 months then when we were finished, to finish it all off. And then we were nervous. I remember myself and Eve and John and everybody going over there. But then once we sort of got into the swing of it, again, the first scene that I shot of that season was actually over in America. Was me and Eve in the bed where she wakes up going, oh, you're on a dream, what are you dreaming about? And she went, bloody Torchwood. Then we lie back down again. We shot that. That was the first thing we shot on the stage over there. And then we came back to film the Welsh stuff. And again, just shows the brilliant man that John is. We were in our little trailers on the Warner Brothers lot. John had finished filming. He'd been filming with Bill Pullman. And we were all really excited. And then we were so nervous. It was like, oh my God, this is on the Warner Brothers set. John came in and, screamed all over Eve's trailer. It was exciting. We were going, fucking shitting ourselves. Oh my God, we're shitting ourselves. And he was like, this is our show. This is our show. And I remember him saying that. They want us, it's our show. And he sort of just went, oh yeah, we've done this show. We're just in a different studio, which is on a different location filming it. So brilliant advice, brilliant support, brilliant guidance from our leading man. And off we went and cracked on.
Amazing. So, interesting question here from Mike, our patron. He says, what's something that fans would be surprised to learn about your time on Torchwood?
Oh my God, that's a really good question.
It is, isn't it?
Well, I never lived in Cardiff, really. I've never lived in Cardiff.
No, that is surprising.
People think that I live in Wales. I've never lived in Cardiff, ever.
Yeah, I will admit, I was scanning your Wikipedia article in preparation for this, and I saw that you lived in England and not Wales, and I just sort of always assumed you lived in Wales.
I've worked in Wales.
Yeah.
I haven't lived in Wales since the day that I left to go to Mount View.
And yet you've retained your beautiful accent all your life.
It's still there,
Yeah.
I can speak Welsh, and when I get on the phone to my mum and it comes back, it's always there, isn't it? Because I'm very much a Welsh lad, and the accent's there, yeah.
He has another question, Mike, as well. He says, which episode or scene was the most challenging to film and why?
Oh, good question. There were some long days on Torchwood that always got sort of pushed back. So it's the sort of rushed ones, I think. The challenging ones, I think, are the ones where you sort of just got to, draw in and get a bit emotional and stuff. And I think you've just got to sort of focus in and concentrate. But sometimes they're often the most rewarding. Adam was really nice. Some lovely scenes in Adam when Gwen didn't recognise Rhys. All the stuff about running away with the kids in Children of Earth. They were physically challenging times. Because we were carrying these kids, running and running and running, long days running and things. But whenever we felt tired or challenged or a little bit sort of like spent or emotionally drained, you had John Barrowman to pick you up and lead and be like a medicine that he was, and he was the same. They just led us and picked us up and made sure that we cracked on and had a sort of second wind, if you know what I mean. There was some really sort of great writing, great scenes, really good scenes at times, but nothing too sort of challenging, more sort of physically. I remember doing one in just Children of Earth with the lying on the potatoes.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
In the lorry.
That was uncomfortable.
Oh. Do you remember any of your sort of favourite lines or classic Rhys moments?
Yeah, so I guess the wife swap one is quite popular that we've already gone. Can you video wife swap for me?
Yeah,
is quite a common line, a common one. Aliens in Cardiff is the best one.
Oh yes,
Aliens in Cardiff. That's a great one. Another great, I can't remember the line, is when he's approaching Nera's shoes with the chainsaw.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, you've ruined my wedding day, and like. Yes. That's a good one.
In that same episode as well, when Jack has called her an ugly bitch and Rhys punches him.
That's what called him an ugly bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great moment.
And then there's the, he's in the apartment and Gwen's pregnant. You're pregnant! And all that, yeah.
Yes.
That's another cracker, yeah.
Yes, definitely. And so you are continuing to play the character of Rhys on the Torchwood audio dramas for Big Finish.
Yes.
What's that been like, revisiting the character?
Absolutely fantastic, as you can imagine. It's a joy. It's great fun. The scripts are funny. They're fast. They're challenging. They're challenging to do. I've had some really moving scenes to do recently or last year, creating the whole Torchwood world just vocally and painting that picture. They're challenging, but a joy, and working with some old friends and some new ones. Really good. There's a load coming out, I think. There's a load, yeah. There's
nice.
There's like exciting new range coming out, I think.
So, as I said at the beginning, unfortunately Ben couldn't join us today, but he has been kind enough to send a voice note for a question for you.
Go on, Ben.
Hi, Kai. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Sorry I couldn't be there. I'm away this weekend. But I do have a question for you. Do you ever want to come back to Torchwood and take on the role of Rhys again? Or do what other people have done and maybe even go on to Doctor Who and become a companion or be Doctor himself? I don't know. What would draw you back to the Who place? Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, it's been a pleasure watching you. You did a really good job and we really enjoyed watching you on Torchwood.
Thank you, Ben. Very kind words and a great question. Yes, I would go back to Torchwood and Rhys in a heartbeat. I think any of us would, really. Whether that'll happen, I genuinely don't think so.
No.
But that's my opinion. But definitely, if I went into the world of Doctor Who, I would like to go into it as Rhys. I'd love a little go. Like all of a sudden, one episode, they land and Rhys, this bloke is there. He gets involved and goes, oh, I know what's going on here. I've had a bit of experience. Let me tell you, a few years back, I've had a bit of experience in this. And then he would get into it. Do you know what I mean? I think that would be fun. And I think a good classic Doctor Who romp kind of thing.
Yes, that would be fun.
And Rhys is involved somewhere, driving the wagon or just being there and like assisting in some way. Definitely not. I've got no aspirations to be the Doctor. I think there's far more qualified and talented people who can play the Doctor. But if you need a good, loyal companion who's a little bit funny and real and down to earth, Dr. Rhys Williams is your man.
Absolutely. Where do you think Gwen and Rhys would be now then?
Ooh, that's a good question. If you asked Russell T Davies that question, right?
Yeah.
He'd be able to tell you at a drop of a hat.
I'm sure.
And he's like, and he'd reel off this amazing, do this. Oh my God, your brain. I'd like to think that they're probably in a remote, they probably won't be in the house that was in the start of season 4, but they'll be somewhere by the sea and they'd be looking after each other and they'd be growing their own veg and having a lovely time in a little village somewhere. And keeping their heads down and doing what they're doing, really, I think.
Because their daughter would be like a teenager now, so...
Yeah, they could even be up on the Isle of Skye or up in Arran, Scotland or somewhere like that, and just minding their own business, and maybe Rhys is a postman or works in a pub.
Oh, yeah.
It's something like that, do you know what I mean?
Lovely.
Like literally where it is nowhere, but they've sort of integrated into this community, and Gwen's got some government sort of pension and Rhys is a postman or something like that. And their daughter is like lovely and beautiful and in school, and they have a nice family sort of thing, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd have any more children because I think there'd be a fear of something kicking off again.
Yes.
No, we're not putting another kid through all that.
No.
Let's get on when nice and grown up and then let's just focus on us 3, I think.
Yeah. So we touched briefly on you stepping into the main show, Doctor Who. Our patron Leah has a question, and she says, what is one villain from Doctor Who that you'd love to face?
Great question. Well, I guess my favourite villain, my favourite Doctor Who episode is the Weeping Angels. I loved that one. They were awesome. I've mentioned that the adipose would be fun for Rhys, I think, back in the day. But yeah, I think Rhys has got to come face to face with a Dalek, hasn't he? He has to.
Yeah.
He has to come face to face with them. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, God, the Cyberwoman, that episode of Torchwood was brilliant. But I think, look, if I'm going to go into Who, he's got to see a Dalek.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Series 4 of Doctor Who, they had a big crossover moment where Torchwood appeared in the show and all that.
Yeah, they did. And he was on the phone.
He was on the phone, but you weren't involved. Yeah.
I get that.
That must have been quite disappointing.
Gutted.
But yeah.
Gutted, but yeah, fine.
Yeah. And so you said, on the show you made friends for life. So you're still in touch with all your fellow cast members. I'm guessing you see them at conventions and things as well. Yeah,
very much so. I messaged Eve only a couple of weeks ago just to say, hey, how you doing? She's as busy and as gorgeous as ever with a beautiful family. And yeah, we cross paths at conventions. I see Gareth a lot, which is fantastic. And Naoko, seen them a lot recently. And John, actually, last year. Gorgeous to see John. Haven't seen Byrne for a while, but always a joy to see him when I do. And we've messaged via social media and things. And Tom Price as well. Get to see Tom quite a bit as well and speak to Tom. And all beautiful, brilliant, talented humans doing life and doing really well in life as well.
Fantastic. And so for you then, since Torchwood came to an end, you've had various things going on. You have been the recurring character in Hollyoaks that you mentioned. You're in Being Human, Waterloo Road, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office quite recently.
Yeah,
But I get the idea that in more recent times, possibly since COVID, you've moved a bit away from acting.
Yeah. Again, it's sadly it's not through choice.
Yeah.
But the world has changed, and the world and chapters happen, and like I said at the beginning, and the work isn't as consistent as it was years ago. I had a fantastic time doing Torchwood. 4 years of doing a big long running series of that. That's an actor's dream. So extremely grateful. And any actor who's in work is a very, very, very lucky actor. Let me tell you that now. So if you are in work, be grateful of it, because it's. But I also understand the business, and I understand that sometimes it's brilliant, sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is and things. So, and I do think, since sort of COVID, I have changed my sort of thinking and my sort of outlook on life. I no longer really do any theatre. I used to do an awful lot of theatre. Theatre was my foundation. It's when I started. I wanted to be an actor when I went to Mount View, not on the telly, you know what I mean? That wasn't even, I wanted to do musicals and be on the stage. I did not, being a TV actor didn't really come into it. Really, that just comes as part of the job when you're out there doing it.
Yeah.
Certainly didn't want to be famous. By people now want to be famous before they do anything else. So I made a conscious sort of effort after COVID. I was doing a show, I was doing a play just before COVID hit, and I was on tour, and the theatre isn't very well paid or anything like that, and I had a son at home to sort of look after and provide for and things, and it was just, it wasn't really financially very viable or anything like that. So COVID came and the show got cancelled during the sort of third week of the tour. And then, obviously we'd all locked down. And then I just sort of, I've got to do something. We all went into survival mode, and we did various things to survive. And I think the world of the self-tape came into it then as well with acting. I haven't really had a face-to-face audition, probably about a handful since COVID's been, really. Most of the things now are done online on self-tape. And even though I'm comfortable and they're great to do, they have a lot of pros. They also have a lot of cons as well. And the main con being is that you're not in the room meeting these people, and they can't talk to you or get to know you, have a rapport with you, or actually give you some notes to go, try this, try that, and then implement what they've given you, and they get the chance to go, yes, I can mold you into this character. So that's just the world of it. And I wasn't as busy as I have done. I've done Mr. Bates in the post office. I've done Wolf. I've done lovely little jobs. I've kept going and kept my hand in kind of thing, but not as busy or as prolific as I was pre-COVID. Hence me sort of knocking a bit on the head with the old theatre and focusing on a side business as well, and working in a college and earning a living, basically. And couldn't sit back. My life was getting on. My son was getting older. Needed to pay the bills, and I've never been work shy, really. I made a decision in COVID that I'm going to do something I've always loved, my health and fitness. So I thought, right, I'm going to train to be a personal trainer. Did all that online. It's been amazing. I love it. So online personal training has been a real sort of, it's a great little site. It's a fantastic business. I'm really passionate about it, and I'm doing it more and more, actually. And working at college, I'm a production manager at a college, a friend's college who I've taught there now for probably nearly 6 years, really 5 or 6 years. And it's a huge part of my life now. My life is very much revolved around that college and my personal training business. And I love it. And I have a great balance with that. And whether I will eventually step away from acting full time, I don't know. I've got a lovely agent, and I'm getting some nice self-tapes through. So we'll see. But it's just the world. I say now that I'm a professional self-taper rather than I'm an actor. But I have no sort of like bitterness about that. I'm really fine with all that. I'm really okay. If I didn't sort of do it ever again, I think I'd be okay with it. And I genuinely mean that, because I do panto every year. I do my panto because I direct it, and I work again close to my friend Johnny, and I do Stoke Panto, and that's a nice sort of end of year sort of fun sort of thing to do. And I've done it for the past 10 years. So it's an annual sort of gig, which I really like, and I'm directing it now as well. So very much involved in the production side of things. So that's good. But I can honestly say that I'm in a lovely place in my life, and as I said at the beginning, I'm coming up to 50, and if I didn't act again, I'd be comfortable with that. I'm a big fan of TV. I'm a big fan of film. I love actors. I wish them all well, and if they're working, brilliant. I'm not envious at all. I just crack on, take it one day at a time, and I've got some brilliant memories. And you know what? Something will always come along. I've always been very lucky, so something will come along. But I'm not sort of actively sort of kicking down doors to get it. Let's say.
Just taking it as it comes and embracing new chapters.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Fantastic. So just to finish off then, I got a couple of slightly more off-topic, eccentric type of questions.
Love them.
Jake wants to know, do you have a favourite book?
Oh, God. Oh, I love books. I love reading. Do you know what? Perfume is up there. Patrick Siskin, Perfume, Story of a Murderer. Ladder to the Sky, John Boyne. And Year of the King, Anthony Sher. There you go.
Fantastic. So you got 3 for the price of 1, Jake.
Yeah.
And Fizzy wants to know, what is your favourite type of biscuit to dunk? Although maybe being a personal trainer, I don't know, maybe biscuits are not allowed.
No, you can have bloody biscuits. You can have biscuits, good God. Oh, without doubt, all day long, the classic McVitie's chocolate digestives.
Fantastic choice.
And I can happily do a massive big mug of strong tea and I'll do a pack in one sitting. I haven't done that for a while.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I used to do it a lot when I used to be hungover, but I don't drink anymore.
Right.
So, but I can, McVitie's chocolate digestive, dunk. One big long pack as well. And get rid of him in 10 minutes. And then feel sick after going, I shouldn't have done that shit.
Yes. Do you think Rhys would also have been a fan of those biscuits?
Yes. I think Rhys would probably be a custard cream kind of guy.
I thought so, yes. Amazing. Well, it has been a delight and a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Do you know what? It's lovely to reminisce and talk to somebody about a wonderful world and that great world of Torchwood, and I'll never get tired of talking about it. You know, it's brilliant. So thank you for all whoever listens, whoever listening, and your patrons. Thanks for your support, because the fans are brilliant. Long may the Hooniverse continue.
Yes, absolutely. We're so grateful. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed hearing Kai talk about all things Torchwood. We'll be back soon with some new episodes, but for now, Kai, it would be a huge honour if you could lead us out when I say, stay cool, stay safe,
stay fantastic.